But that count misses most homeless students. 80% of them couch surf, they live in motels, or they double up with other family or friends. They don't live on the street or in shelters, but they also don't have a permanent home of their own. The Department of Education does consider these students homeless, and they estimate that there are 1.3 million of them.
All right, listen up, y'all.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is another episode of All Things Education Official. I am your host and educator, DrAbdullah, giving you educational news from a foundational Black American man's perspective. If you like what you're seeing, you like what you're hearing, please subscribe, comment, like, and share. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. Put me in your algorithm. If you want to follow me closely, follow me on my social media handles at Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, TikTok, LinkedIn, and X. And if you like the content, you find value, please go to the About section and buy me a cup of coffee. It would always be greatly appreciated. Today we are on the spring break edition. Though sometimes you see me in a t-shirt, but today I'm wearing a t-shirt because I am on spring break, one of the perks of being in education. So today we're going to talk about something that's not jovial, not funny, not fun, but it's a very outstanding aspect of education. We're going to talk about homelessness of children within the American public education system.
We're finding that students aren't staying put as long. We are, and looking at the trend is a lot of it is due to financial struggles. Here at our school, we do have a higher population of homelessness.
The National McKinney-Vento Act defines homeless as any student that does not have a regular and adequate nighttime residence. Hillsborough County Public Schools ended this school year with 4,256 students identified as experiencing homelessness.
We know with the increase in inflation, a lot of our families are really having a difficult time right now.
This chart puts that into perspective over the last 4 years as the issue hits all-time highs in the last 2 years. The counts are continuous throughout the year, but as of the last week of school, 268 students are living in cars or public spaces, 322 are in emergency or transitional shelter, 925 are in hotels and motels, 2,741 are sharing or doubling up homes with others.
In this video, the McKinney-Vento Act was mentioned. I've been a McKinney-Vento Act coordinator for a number of years, and it has become a vital part of school infrastructure, meaning that is a part of the staffing that is necessary and mandatory, if not all, definitely most states. According to the National Center for Homeless Education at www.nche.ed.gov, the term homeless children and youth, A, means individuals who lack a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence within the meaning of Section 103A, 1. B, children and youth who are sharing the housing of other persons due to loss of housing, economic hardship, or a similar reason, are living in motels, hotels, trailer parks, or camping grounds due to the lack of alternative adequate accommodations, are living in emergency or transitional shelters, or are abandoned in hospitals. Children and youth who have primary nighttime residence that is a public or private place, not designed for or ordinarily used as regular sleeping accommodation for human beings within the meaning of Section 103A, or children and youth who are living in cars, parks, public spaces, abandoned buildings, substandard housing, bus or train stations, or similar settings. And finally, migratory children, as such term defined in Section 1309 of Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965, who qualify as homeless for the purposes of this subtitle because the children are living in circumstances described in clauses. The definition is very loose-fitting. I know there's a lot of words, Sally, but we're going to say this. The definition is loose-fitting, but essentially helps to cover all children so that they will not fall through the cracks of an already unstable system and are not able to receive necessary services.
Districts must also have a homeless liaison. Here, that's Carrie Rennick. Her job is to make sure homeless students have the support they need to stay in school.
We provide educational services to make sure that kids get enrolled in school, get transportation back and forth to school, and then just kind of ensuring that their everyday needs are met.
Student homelessness is a widespread problem. Nearly 1 in 4 school districts in the U.S. gets federal grant money to help provide services for homeless students. And that money is stretched thin. It amounts to an average of $50 per student.
I am of the opinion that homelessness is never taken seriously because it's often seen as a circumstance of poor planning, poor life management, or carelessness. These factors, even if they were true, almost never consider the children that are affected by homelessness, and this becomes a systemic neglect, and children are the biggest losers. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness at www.endhomelessness.org, Black Americans make up 13% of the general population. You know how I feel about that. But more than 40% of the homeless population. This definitively indicates that a large number of homeless children are Black American. According to www.usafacts.org, homelessness disproportionately affects Natives, Blacks, and Hispanic students. While 2.2% of all students were identified as experiencing homelessness, this percentage included 1.3% white students and 0.9% Asian students. By comparison, over 3% of Black and Hispanic students and over 4% of Native students experience homelessness. Our children in particular must be protected from the devastating effects of homelessness, and if by chance they fall victim, it is imperative that parents, families, and caregivers are aware of the resources available to assist these children. We must, as a community, remove any and all obstacles that would stop our children from receiving the academics and the assistance needed for their growth. All academic institutions of secondary learning have access to a liaison or coordinator of homeless services. In many states, they are labeled the McKinney-Vento liaison or coordinator. Please, if you are in transition, if you are homeless, or if you're experiencing homelessness, please do not feel so much shame in the situation that you do not reach out to the authorities in your school system primarily, especially if you have children, and do not fail to access these resources that are set aside by the government for your children. They deserve every opportunity to be the best possible students that they can be. They are victims of an unfortunate circumstance, and they deserve every opportunity to thrive and prosper. Once again, this is another episode of All Things Education Official. I am your host, DrAbdullah. Thank you for coming out. Please follow me on my social media handles at Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, LinkedIn, TikTok, and X. Go to the About section if you find value in the content and buy me a cup of coffee. You are dismissed.
Yeah! You are all expurgated. You are dismissed.
Too much propaganda, spiritual pollution. Too many problems, not enough solutions. So many billionaires that make no contributions. Gotta create fund and maintain our institutions. Word to the masses, our government is backwards. Only thing I've learned is what a barrel and a crab is. Deploying all these tactics to keep us all distracted. Scrolling on our gadgets and we scroll right past it. While we caught up in the fashion, they sitting back laughing. This education we're lacking, all the laws they be passing. Peep the curriculum, you'll see they're subtracting the necessary work. These kids mentally absent, turned out full plastic.